with the first of two 12-lap races, the senior races here at Kyrgyzstan, and what a star-studded front row of the grid it really has turned out to be. They're coming around at the end of the warm-up lap, and they're in pole position. Number 8, Ron Haslam on the 500 Pepsi Suzuki, the Grand Prix bike. He shattered the lap record already in practice, and it promises to be a battle to see who will finish second to Haslam. Well, the rain may make life difficult for the rest. Carl Fogarty, second quickest, the man who's just clinched the TT Formula 1 World Championship for the second time. Next to him, the Dubliner Eddie Laycock on a 500 Honda. Next to him, Gary Cowan on the 250 Dock Shop machine. Next to him, number 9, Roger Burnett. And then number 0, there you can see Steve Cull on the JPS Norton. So a superb lineup. There they are, 6 men on the front row of the grid. Burnett is going to be the man who hopes to inflict some sort of authority on this race. He's not had the best of seasons, and we're coming up to contract time. The tension mounts. The final man has come round onto the grid. The grid is being cleared. Haslam then shattering the lap record in practice. He's got into the 57s for the first time ever here at Kyrgyzstan, but will this shower of rain make a big difference? All eyes on the starter. It's a clutch start. The official moves across the line. The board is watch the light. They edge forward, and not a good start for Haslam. In fact, a superb look. There is the wheelie from Stephen Cull on the Norton, but it's Roger Burnett. Burnett from Stephen Cull, and there is Cull on the black Norton, and one or two people taking things a little bit carefully. Well, Roger Marshall here in the commentary box with me. One or two people a little bit wary about the rain.
You're not wrong, Chris, and Haslam got a very bad start there, and also Robert Dunlop, who came out on Eddie Laycock's bike. So that's an interesting situation after he blew his spare bike up in practice.
And there is Stephen Cull in second spot, and up into the lead is Philip McCallan, the Ulster man who's made a big name for himself on the pure road circuits around the world. And look at the pace of the Norton, but McCallan is not giving in. Side by side, wheel to wheel. Now this could be tricky, and McCallan leans on the fellow Ulsterman. He leaned on the Norton man, and that really was a brave piece of riding, Roger.
Oh, unbelievable. I mean, Stephen Cull held his line there, but McCallum went right round the outside of him. Incredible. And as Cull goes through now on the start and finish, and Burnett down in third place now.
So no substitutes for the torque and the horsepower of the Norton, but as I say that, McCallan, who's a brave boy, he really isn't going to give up. A tremendous ride. And that really is getting fairly desperate there. McCallan and Cull wheel to wheel, and the rest of the field at the moment forced to play second fiddle. 12 laps, remember, this race, and Cull, well, he's had just one outing so far this year on the North, thanks to a problem with trepanation. There goes Cull in the lead. McCallan is in second place. Then it's Roger Burnett behind him. No sign yet on the front three of Ron Haslam on the Pepsi Suzuki. Look at the Norton pull away, Roger. It's got
incredible turn of speed down there, Chris. I couldn't believe the way it went, giving the local fans something incredible to talk about. McCallan on the brakes was just as impressive as Cull was down the straight there.
Well, probably more so, because Cull really just relying on the motor of the Norton. McCallan on bravery and technique, because it's got to be slippy out there.
It certainly has, and it'll be interesting to know if anybody went out on intermediate tyres in this race, because it's dry. And look at McCallan again on the brakes there.
He's on the inside, Roger. That was the best line.
Absolutely perfect, Chris. The way he went through there, he's riding superb. He doesn't look at all hairy, and he's getting the power to the ground, where the Norton produced an awful lot of horsepower. Cull's having to be a little bit careful, the same as Haslam, I suspect. Haslam went through a couple of screens in practice and bust them, and the mechanics said they didn't want any more braking with all that horsepower.
Well, Philip McCallan, just a young man trying to make his mark on short circuits. There's Carl Fogarty, then Brian Morrison, Gary Cowan there, and Haslam, I think, in about 8th place there.
Yeah, incredible, Chris. I can't believe he's so low down at this stage. And look at McCallum again.
Back with the leaders. That's Philip McCallum out in front. Behind him, Stephen Cole. Oh, and somebody went very wide. I think that was Burnett.
Yeah, it probably was, because Roger was actually closing on the first two. Oh no, he's still there.
Well, it was somebody there with the...
It was Burnett, yeah. But Fogarty's through.
And Cole now loses the place. So it's McCallum now from Carl Fogarty. Down to third place goes Cole. Maybe there's a problem with the North because it looked nowhere near as impressive as it was.
No, it didn't go down the straight there. I couldn't believe it then, Chris. He just lost a turn of speed there. Whether he missed a gear or something, I don't know. But it looks to be going okay again now.
Cole in third place. Behind him, Roger Burnett, the British boy on the HRC RC30 Honda. But we're back with the race leader and Carl Fogarty, who survived an horrendous car accident earlier in the week. Battling away despite the bumps and the bruises. Brian Morrison, Gary Cowan, number 30. Haslam moving up just a little bit now, so he's on the charge. He's got a lot of work to do, though, if Mr. Haslam's going to win this one, Roger.
Yeah, I can't see him winning this one, Chris, at all at the moment. And the way Fogarty's pulling him in, I mean, McCallum in, Fogarty is the man of the moment, as we know, and he did an incredible time last week at Donington. He did a minute 37, which is GP 500 time.
And look at the back end of that RC30 of Carl Fogarty, twisting and complaining there again. Another mighty twitch.
Yeah.
Well, Fogarty's certainly trying, but the motorcycle and the rear tyre not appreciative of his efforts, Roger.
No, and Carl's on the Metzler tyres, which is one of the few runners who run on the big bikes on the Metzlers. So I'd imagine McCallum will be on either the Dunlops or the Michelin tyres, but Fogarty pulling him very close to McCallum now.
We are on the 5th of 12 laps. Plenty of time for Fogarty to do something. Plenty of time, for that matter, for Ron Haslam to get in the scene. Obviously, the track is drying out, and McCallum is still holding off Carl Fogarty. It really is an impressive ride from McCallum. McCallum came to the forefront, of course, with his Manx Grand Prix performances, and then, of course, the Isle of Man TT.
Yeah, he's riding very well at the moment, and he's had a really good year in Northern Ireland as well. But look at Fogarty there, coming in close again. Oh, and Haslam's gone straight on there.
That's Ron Haslam overshooting, trying hard to get back on the pace, and he's lost an awful lot of ground. Well, he wasn't the first man we saw overshoot, and we saw, in fact, Fogarty seconds before that get a real nasty slide on the back end. And Fogarty goes on the inside. Fogarty goes through on the inside to take the lead. So the boy from Blackburn in Lancashire, Carl Fogarty, now leads from Ulsterman, Philip McCallum. Fogarty from McCallum.
Fogarty getting an awful twitch on there, so he obviously means that he's going to go for it now. Probably already thought that Haslam was maybe coming up a bit quick, which he was, and if Ron hadn't made that mistake there, he would have soon been on the pace, but he's left himself an awful lot of work.
And McCallum has disappeared. We appear to have lost there. That's 14, that's George Barlow. Well, that really is very sad indeed. Barlow dislocated the shoulder early in the week and battling against doctors' wishes to be racing here. There is Steve Cole, that's Lee Norton. Great to see the British motorcycles back on the scene again and going so well, but McCallum was the man who disappeared a little bit from our picture, we thought there. We'll check on that in a moment. Cole, he, I think, is in third place. Just check with our lap scorer. And we have lost McCallum. It's Fogarty then, Steve Cole up into second place. We'll try and find out what happened to McCallum. McCallum down to 7th place, so whether he made this 8th. There's Cole in second spot, Burnett in third place, and well, Haslam getting back into the picture.
Yeah.
Roger, there's Cole, he's second, ahead of Roger Burnett.
Yeah, and also Gary Cowan having a great ride there in the top 6 at the moment, so that's very impressive on a 250. And Burnett closing on Cole again, and Cowan closing on them, and Haslam's coming right back into the fray again after overshooting, and he's closing in all 3 of them.
There are 5 riders, and they are closing in, and look at Ron Haslam. That was superb. Just a bit of a glimpse there of the pace. Now, will he overshoot this time? No, a better line this time. Haslam tighter going through. There's Brian Morrison. There is Phil McCallum, I think it was. And Cole, Burnett, behind them, Haslam. 1, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. And the 2nd, 3rd and 4th men closing up. And Haslam is not out of this by any manner of means. Haslam, 33 years of age. And Burnett goes through on the inside, trying to pass There is Fogarty, the leader. Burnett through to second place. Cole holds on to third spot. Haslam leading one side, then the other. Oh dear, did you see the Suzuki there, Roger?
Yeah, I nearly jumped off my chair, Chris. An incredible twitch there. 150 brake horsepower there at the back wheel, and Ron's having an awful lot to hold that bike there because it's very bumpy on this circuit and the track's drying now, so he'll be trying extra hard.
In the main, the riders all on full wet tyres, and as the track dries out, Roger, that's not going to be the most perfect of combinations.
No, I was quite surprised when they all went out on wets. I thought somebody might have took a chance, one of the top runners, and gone out on intermediates because, and Burnett goes very wide there, and he's let Haslam through into second place, so Haslam up now to second place, doing a great job there. Oh, Ron gets another slide off, coming off the start and finish, but he holds it.
Haslam then in second place, Burnett in third spot, Cole there in fourth place. All the time though, Carl Fogarty is out in front and the chase is on to catch him. Well, Fogarty has exactly the same problems that the men behind do, and that is they're running on full wet, shredded tyres, and as the track dries out, it's going to be more and more difficult.
And there's an interesting situation, a 250 in front of the JPS Norton.
Gary Cowan on the 250, having gone ahead there of the Norton of Stephen Cole. There was the leader going through, Haslam through the chicane, then Burnett, then Gary Cowan, then Stephen Cole.
Interesting situation now, can Haslam catch Fogarty after Fogarty's made a good break right from the beginning and pulled a nice lead, and now it'll be very interesting to see this GP start, see if he can move up.
Well, Steve Cole used the Norton's pace to get ahead of Gary Cowan, and Gary Cowan simply outrode him by going through on the brakes on the inside. So it's Fogarty on the RC30 Honda, the 750 4-stroke Honda, being chased by Ron Haslam on the 500 2-stroke Grand Prix Pepsi Suzuki. They've done now 9 laps. They're on their 10th, so just over 2 laps to go.
And I'll probably have to eat my words. I said Haslam wouldn't do it, but he's closing in very quick now on Fogarty, and he's looking good on these last 2 laps.
Well, I think we're in for a grandstand finish because Fogarty in practice got down into the low 58s, Haslam a record-breaking high 57s, but we know they can both go very... And Gary Cowan up into third place. Ahead now, Roger Burnett, Steve Cole and Brian Morrison, and that is absolutely fabulous.
That is incredible, Chris. I mean, he's a GP star, as we know, Gary Cowan, and to pull the stops out on these big bikes like he is doing, with these couple of long straights in it, is absolutely incredible.
And the gap now between the race leader and Ron Haslam, something less than 50 yards, and you saw the Suzuki Twister complain, and Fogarty knows that he's being chased, he knows he's being caught. They've now completed 10 laps. 2 more laps to go, and can Fogarty hang on? Well, he might, but Haslam's getting closer and closer and closer.
And we'll certainly see a turn of speed here as they're coming up towards the chicane just before the back straight, and we'll see if Haslam can close in on him.
Well, they're both riding on a knife edge. It's like trying to walk on sheet ice on leather sole shoes, isn't it, at the moment out there, Roger?
It certainly is, and by now the back rear tyres will be breaking up a little bit because the track's drying, and it'll be ripping them apart, as well as the slippery bits of track will be catching them out as well.
So for both men, the problem is, and Haslam bobbing out of the... Oh, and he just flies back Fogarty. Now that will be a little bit like a red rag to a bull, Roger.
It certainly will, because Carl, I know he doesn't like losing, and he'll want to win, he'll want to keep his form up, but I hope he doesn't do anything silly against such incredible bike with so much horsepower.
They're on the final lap. This is the 12th and final lap. Haslam now out in front. He was down in 8th place, remember, early on, and suddenly the Grand Prix star, the Grand Prix man, finished once again, as he does every year, in the top 10 of the 500 World Championship, showing his paces. So
certainly a good ride, Chris, by Ron. I mean, a lot of people give him a lot of stick at the GPs, but he flies a flag for England, and when it comes down to a circuit like this, you just see the style and flair that he's got. And
the experience, of course. Haslam coming up to pass a couple of tail enders, and that will give Fogarty a chance to close the gap on him, but and Haslam safely past one. Well, yes, on the inside, safely past the other. victory. In the second place, Carl Fogarty, good ride from him, and what a performance from Gary Cowan on the 250 Dock Shop machine. Takes third place ahead of Roger Bennett and Steve Cull. But first blood, first victory for Ron Haslam.
Ron Haslam, many congratulations, but dare I say you did it the hard way.
Yeah, wet conditions. I'd not really tested in the wet, and I'm a bit too cautious at the beginning, and they seemed to get away a little bit. But once I got to grips with it and find out where the slippy bits were, I was all right after that.
And looking at the overtaking of Carl Fogarty, the Suzuki was really fast.
Yeah, the machine is really quick compared to the others. It's a Grand Prix bike, and it's one of the top Grand Prix bikes, so it's a really good machine.
Looking forward to the rest of the day?
Yeah, hope it dries up. Now I've had a wet one, I'd like a dry one, so get a bit more fun out of it then.
Okay, Ron, thanks a lot. Well done.
Thank you.
So, as I said, our reporter, Edward Smith, was in the pit area looking for some